We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. Another beautiful day here. It is August 5th, 2022. We're going to dive in, do our general kind of brief market overview. I've got some ideas I've been working on in the background, so we're gonna switch it up here again soon. Try some new things and how we share through the community. What's valuable? Remember, I think part of this idea is I made a post this morning I thought was quite poignant. I found myself dancing around outside, having a great old time. And part of the kind of the idea or the image came through is like, a lot of the time you, or me, this is my example, I know the things that I need to fix so that I can be the better me, the better version of me effectively. And that as you do that work, you end up in the future that you're desiring, the more wealth, more success, more love, whatever it might be. So part of this is, first off, seeing the vision of you and what you would be doing in the future when you have your millions of dollars and we have all the freedom that you're looking for. And as many of the things that you have in that vision of your future that you can do today, for instance, for me this morning, it was just like dancing around, being happy outside, even though you might not have the pool and the beautiful view and the millions of dollars, whatever that you would want to be like happy to dance about. Well, skip that other stuff, but focus on the dancing. These are things that you can actively work on today that make you feel better and bring you closer to the alignment of what your future self and future you look like. For those of you that don't know, you can, for those of you that do know, you could tell I've been reading some Joe Dispenza. So anyways, great book, Becoming Supernatural. I've been quite enjoying it. There's a lot of ideas there that we like to share. So here we are, a shorter time frame than we normally look at here, but I think it's important because we're kind of in a very important area for Bitcoin. So we have been following this short horizontal trading range here. Let's see, since around the 20th of June. So not a ton of time, but enough to have formed what appears to be a nice trading range. Now, we could get into some conversations about the potential for a rising gradient bottom here as well, which is a very bullish accumulation pattern. For those of you that are in the private den and have spent a lot of time with us, you'll recognize these. We found a bunch of them way back in 2020, right before the market started to blow up. Now, this is not necessarily a refined moment the market is going to blow up because we're only on a 1 hour chart. But again, it gives me more confidence for that overall thesis, I think, of where we head in this next step, at the very least, which is Bitcoin somewhere around $29,000 to $37,000. I think we're about to get a very strong relief rally. This is going to be in one of two directions. Now, first off, if we can't close above $30,000, we're coming way lower, and that will be a total invalidation of my thesis. So current thesis here is that we are in a long-term accumulation range, and that this accumulation range here, these two blue bars effectively that you can see. Let's get rid of the bottom one there. These two blue bars that you can see like this is an accumulation range, more actually technically speaking a reaccumulation range. And then what we're witnessing right now is the spring. There are a few reasons to believe that. Here, the significant amount of supply that came into the market during this. And also, as you can see back here in the 2020 pandemic, the equal size of supply that came in. So these are usually where we look for bottoms. And lo and behold, across this section, we're reaching that high volume, likely spring scenario. So there's a few indicators, again, that this was a technical bottom. Now, there are a bunch of other things I've gone over in my previous videos, which I'll leave out, that are worrying. I've never seen the death or the birth rates in such dramatic fashion exceed their normal, like 50-year moving average. And it's said that dead men don't buy things, and they also don't build shit either, or women. Doesn't matter. Gender is unimportant. Dead people don't buy or sell shit. And that's what the market is made of. It's made of a supply and demand scenario. And if you remove the characters in that demand and supply diminish horribly, right? So this is one factor I think that I still have yet to come to terms with, and I may never be able to fully reconcile. We'll have to be patient to see. But on a technical level, we do have a lot of signals, especially these large volume wicks up here, that all kind of signal what I would believe to be a bottom. Now, again, we could get some massive form of invoked fear. I think the United States just declared a health fucking nonsense because everybody's scared of monkeypox for no reason. But because of this, first off, it's usually, these are bullish signals, when you have peak fear, like, oh my God, monkeypox and we're public health emergency of international concern. First off, never trust the WHO. These people are useless at their job. And same with the government of the United States, fucking useless at their jobs. So we may have actually hit a bottom because there are a bunch of fear signals that indicate that. One of the things we like to do in that area as well is look at the, not the DXY, but the VIX. We'd peaked out some fear back here in June 20th, right around those dates we were looking at for that ultimate bottom high volume spring. And now we've started to cool down in our fear. But note, nonetheless, even though we've cooled down, we're actually at all-time highs if you look back to the previous areas. Like some of the biggest drops in the stock market were where we're just hovering around in terms of general anxiety and fear within the market. So there's a bunch of stuff to be said about human psychology and the potential for going lower based off that, but most of those weaker hands are gone and any new fear is almost irrelevant. And that's kind of what happened with the pandemic back in 2020. What you would see, we'll go back here to Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the larger chart maybe will actually, it will be much sexier here for us to try to explain our thought. Here we go. Okay, so here is the spring back in the March of 2020. We'll zoom in. We'll focus in on this kind of accumulation area that we were following. This was the beautiful accumulation range that had started to form. That was the indicator that we were going up. How high? Well, the regression lines actually seem to work pretty well. I still have not edited this chart in any way, shape, or form. It's exactly the same as when we started to draw it in between May and July, or May, June, July. And here again, these high volume springs are characterized. The start of a bull market is characterized by peak fear. Oh my God, Nancy Pelosi and World War III and monkeypox. These are actually great signals for the potential for the bottom of a market and the start of something new. Now, again, my main concern here is that I haven't been able to calculate in what happens if people aren't having new babies and more people are dying, because that's a huge deal. So we'll just ignore that for now. Let's just focus on the technicals. There are a lot of technical reasons to believe that we hit the bottom and bounced off here. Now, again, I don't want to be too cocky quite yet, because that's just never smart. But so what I wanted to do was look at this specific gap here that I think we're going to run up to. So on the right-hand side, we've got the VPVR, the volume profile range, and there's this nice big chunked out gap here up to around $28,000 to $29,000. I think with the next week, we're going to run to around $29,000 to $31,000. Now, what happens after that is really what happens for the coming 6 months to a year afterwards. If we cannot close back above this $29,000 to $32,000 area, we could come a bunch lower, because we could be in for a panic, like a once in 1,000 year panic of some kind. I don't know what that would look like. I can't guess, but that happens. On the other hand, though, we're actually a significant way through this market. Even to where we are today, we're already 500 days into this market cycle movement. If we go back and look at Bitcoin from the previous all-time high, which was way back here in December 2017, it at around the 400-day mark, you had this massive run from the bottom of the trading range all the way back up to form this new kind of I guess I want to use a word. Anyways, this new trading range started to take place. So we went from 3,000 to 13,000 quite quickly at around that 400 to 500 day mark. So if Bitcoin were to do something similar at around the peak of the first trough there, around 500 days, we would have a run somewhere up maybe as high as $40,000 to $50,000, maybe let's say 42,000. This will be key, because there is a high likelihood that we'll see a big run in the next few weeks. And then again, it will be followed by something like this. So after we made this move from 3,000 to 13,000, we started to form a new trading range. So there's never any reason to rush into a position. Even though we went from 3 to 13, we still came back down to 3 eventually, or around 3,500. Now, again, averaging or finding time and conviction within your investment is so important, rather than just all investing at once. It gives you time to really check your thesis. Do I think this is a good idea? Do the builders look like they're adding anything new? Is there on-chain activity? All these fun questions you get to ask yourself as the months progress. So that first 500 days from the top of the market to the bottom of the market was signaled the next start of the automatic rally. And this was really important. We could be about to witness that now again. So there's a reason to believe that it may actually come higher than that initial gap that we have at the $29,000 mark. And as you can see, if we go in a little bit closer here, come up somewhere as high as 38,000. This red line moving through here is the volume profile point of control. There's potential that we come back and actually try to touch this as well, because it is the majority of this trading range so far. It will act almost as a magnet in the next move. So just because we get above 29,000 is not a guarantee, but if we do close above 29, it is likely that we'll come up to around 39 here, again, where the majority of the buying and selling has taken place within the last 700 days. Anyways, just a brief little update today. I wanted to keep it short. I will look. Let's see. Yeah, no, that's it. I was just a brief video update today. Thank you all for joining us. I've got some vlog ideas I'm going to work on, share with you, take you around. I know we had a lot of feedback and you guys love those a heck of a lot more than these videos that are live, clearly. So we're going to work on that. I appreciate you all. Remember to try envision what does that new future successful wealthy you look like, and what are they doing on a daily basis. It's not about the things that are in your life. It's about the things you are doing. And they're often quite simple. It could be more meditation, going to bed earlier, quitting smoking. There's a ton of things I'm sure each individual as themselves would recognize as things that they could work on to be that better future self. Imagine yourself there, put yourself in the position to achieve those things, and you're already going through the hardest parts of the next steps towards success. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. Stu with the Arcane Bear. We'll see you on the next episode. Boom.